12 on Monday the 3rd of November 2014. I am your host Stephen Layton. Welcome to In My Mug and welcome to this week's news. So let's get on with the news. I am a man of the future at the moment in two ways. This is pre-recorded as I am currently in Taiwan, which most of you will be watching this in the UK or in the US, which is our two main kind of markets for the video, and I am really in the future. I'm hoping that I'll be able to record the tasting somewhere, but if not, I've failed. But watch my Twitter, watch my Facebook, apart from in China where you're not going to see any Twitter or any Facebook and Instagram. But I'm going to put loads up about this trip that I'm on. It's really exciting. It's part of the Tamper Tantrum tour, and I'm really so looking forward and scared at the same time of going to Asia. And while talking about Tamper Tantrum, why not go and check out tampertantrum.com. Fun industry videos for coffee professionals all around the world. But I know you guys are interested in coffee because that's why you're watching me do these things. You may not be an industry professional, but go look at tampertantrum.com for some of the videos we've done in the past, and there's going to be more of those coming up in the future. And I want to talk about our guest blend. Our guest blend for this month comes from Coffee Works Project in North London. And it's something a little bit unusual, as the other guest blends that we've done have been a bit different. This is a single origin, and this is because Coffee Works Project focus very much on doing great single origin coffees, and amazing partners that we love working with in Angel in North London, and very close to the Angel tube station. Coffee Works Project are definitely worth checking out. And that was the news. And we should go to Focus On. Focus On this week is on El Salvador and the economic importance of coffee to El Salvador. So the economic importance of coffee to El Salvador is huge. There are approximately 165,000 hectares devoted to coffee, and close to 12% of the natural nation's arable land. But only grown in 7 of the 14 provinces, and that's a lot to do with altitude. Most of the plantations centre around the western and central provinces. So Santa Ana, so 34% of the production is Santa Ana, 17% in Archapan, 10% in Sonsonate, and 21% in La Libertad. Most of the coffee land is in the eastern part of the country, kind of down by San Miguel. 10% of the country's total, 6% in Old Sultan. Currently represents around about 3% of the gross national product and 22% of the agricultural products that come out of El Salvador. And it's been typically very important when it comes to currency because of the US dollar investment when you're buying those. In 1997, it accounted for 22% of total exports. So there has been a rise in those exports. Lots of local improvement and investment because of the Civil War. The coffee seemed like a good thing to do. Around about 2.3 million 60 kilo bags came out of El Salvador and has 2.3 of the share of the world's output. For such a tiny country, it really is an important country to coffee. It's ranked 11th in the world in terms of production, and that's 11th out of 55. So they really are a big and strong and important country to coffee for somewhere so small. You know, the context I always use for the size of El Salvador is the size of Wales. I wrote a full article on this, and you should go take a look at go.hasbeen.co.uk/El Sal article. All one word, all lowercase. Go take a look, and that was Focus On. I like it when I've got an article to back up Focus On. But let's talk about this week's coffee. So back in 1870, Fabio Moran and Estefano Silva decided to conquer this hostile territory of a farm, putting coffee on the highest summits of the Apaneca Ilamapatec mountain range that we talked about on Focus On last week. And this 28 hectare plot of land they called Siberia because of its chaotic weather conditions and its difficult accessibility. Really apt, really, because it is quite a difficult place to get to in particularly for El Salvador, which tends to be good roads and easy access. A whole century later, Rafael Silva inherited the farm and has been looking after it ever since. Only grows shade-grown coffee. I don't know why that is important, but some coffee's a good shade, some don't. But 75% of it is Bourbon, which is the famous El Salvadorian varietal, and 25% Pacamara, and Pacamara is the other famous El Salvador lot. I mentioned Rafael Silva. This might be a familiar one, as he's become a bit of a superstar in El Salvador. Grows one of my all-time favourite coffees in La Fani. And one of the first farms I visited in El Salvador back in 2007 on my first visit there. And I've stocked I stocked La Fani ever since. But Siberia was a little bit harder. Somehow we didn't get any, and we weren't able to, and it was a shame because I really liked the coffee. But going forward to 2012, the Cup of Excellence, this sample hit our table that we loved, and we were wowed, and found out it was Carmen and Raphael's. We went into that auction going, we'll get this, we'll get this, and it cost us £12. Well, we were selling it for £12 a bag on the site, even because we paid through the nose for it. But you guys snapped it up and you raved about it and you loved it, and lots of you asked me to get it again. So that's what I did. I went and got it again, and we've 2013, last year, was our first year of securing it directly from Carmen and Raphael, and we definitely have plans to continue to do that going forward, and hence it being back again. So on my visit, they took me to their lovely new mill, where Carmen and Raphael have invested a lot of money in building a brand new mill for all of their farms, and have shown me some of their other farms. So San Cateno is another farm that we've been taking from them. Norija, which is a coffee that we had last year, is another one of their farms, and we've started to do an awful lot more business with Carmen and Raphael. What else do I need to tell you? So Siberia is, as I've said, on the Apaneca mountain range. And this estate, you're going to see this on the map bit, it's an amazing part, but La Fani is here, Siberia is here. But you can't get to it over that way, you have to drive down and then around and then all the way up. But you'll get a really good view of where the farm is compared to La Fani, and they really are super close. And I think that's why I love both of these coffees so much. So we should talk about the figures. The farm is called La Siberia, the farmer is Rafael and Carmen Silva Hoff. The nearest city is Chala Chupa. It's in the Santrana region. It's in El Salvador, of course. It's 27 hectares, which is quite decent size for a farm in El Salvador, and it's all devoted to coffee growing. There are no woodlands or unreachable parts on this farm. Produces around about 35,000 kilos a year, so that's 35 tonne. Has 120 people working on the farm during the peak of the harvest. Has an altitude of 1,450 metres above sea level, and this varietal for this one is 100% Bourbon. So I talked about the map bit already, we should go to the map bit now. Do you know, I think the map bit is one of my favourite parts of In My Mug. I just love maps and I love geography, and I love seeing myself wave you off. So we're going up and away, and we are going to be going across. Now, I've gone for a slightly different kind of map this week. You can see that it looks a little bit more patchworky, but this is how I got more detail. We're going down to El Salvador again, and we're going down to that area where we've been many times. But before we do that, let's look at the facts. So, El Salvador has over 20 volcanoes, which is quite apt. I've been talking about volcanoes a lot in my mugs recently. But it's a very active volcanic area. Let's go down, and Nahapa from last week is there, but we're not going there. We are going down to... There we go. So we're going down to Siberia here. So here we're looking across the mountain from Siberia, and that's Guatemala just in the distance. The lowest point is the Pacific Ocean. The highest point is 2,730 metres. And there's that wonderful topography chart again that I love so much. I really do like looking at all of these like detailed maps. You kind of get to learn so much more about the geography. But let's swizz around from the Guatemala view and let's go round to look at the sea. Can we see the sea in the distance? No, we're not going to quite see it on this one because it's just round the mountain. But let's whiz round so we can. So there is Siberia. And you can actually see that though there's windbreaks there. Those are coffee trees. This is the real kind of growing range that you see. I have seen this view physically with my eyes. It actually reminds me. So there's the sea just to the left there. And you see Lafani is the other side, which is the sister farm of this one. It gives you a really good idea of where they are in relation to each other. Got to be one of the best map bits we've done in a while. But now it's time for Roland's Daft Fact, and as I always say, I cannot guarantee the quality of this. Siberia is about 50 times the size of the UK and has about half the population. That's a lot of space for them to walk around in. I think Roland may have missed the point. We're not talking about Siberia, Roland. We're talking about the farm Siberia in El Salvador. I think he might be talking about the Siberia in Russia. Okay, time to whap you on pause. I'm going to go and make tasting delicious drinks. Be back with you in just a second. And I'm back. I'm going to dive straight into my espresso. So, the Siberia from Carmen and Rafael Silva. So what you get in the espresso is you get milk chocolate, big milk chocolate, and this is very typical of Bourbons from El Salvador, particularly the washed ones. Really lovely milk chocolate. There's a hint of walnut in there, and I'm thinking walnut whip because it's actually a little bit creamy as well. Delicious. Cappuccino next. It's getting a little bit lost in the milk. It's not pairing through as I might like it to. For me, not the greatest cat coffee. There are others out there which will do a much better job. Last week's and actually next week's as well. Two coffees that work well in category doesn't work so well here. We should go into the brewed. Now, if I'm clever, I've recorded something in wherever I am to do the brewed. But if not, you're just going to watch me do it here and drink here. So see what happened. If you're hearing this, I've failed. But okay, so in the brewed coffee, the milk chocolate is still there. You still get the walnut there, but there's more acidity. You know, you'd expect more acidity in a brewed coffee just because of it opens it up with not being so intense. For me, the acidity is a watermelon acidity. It's delicious. It's like really refreshing. It's almost quite juicy. It kind of covers the mouth, but it's not sharp. So you know, like sometimes you'll like citrus acidity. It's a little bit more. This is like a watermelon acidity, so it's sweet and it's sticky at the same time as being acidic. I think it's great coffee. I love that we have this farm. You know, buying Cup of Excellence, knowing Carmen and Rafael so well, and now buying directly from them. It's something I'm incredibly proud of. There are some other versions of this coffee available. So you have the Pulp Natural and the Natural of it. Will not be in my mug, so if you want them, you'll have to go and buy them. I'm going to shut up. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. And do remember, life is definitely too short for bad coffee.